this stuff up, and it's turning into a beautiful day. Clouds are actually burning off, and it's gonna be nice.
I love a girl named Madeline, I know she loves me too. For every night the moon is bright, she rides in my canoe. At midnight on the river, I hear her father call, but she don't care and I don't care if we get back at all, because I'm paddling Madeline home. Say when I'm paddling Madeline home. First I drift with the tide over the shore.
So the agenda, so it's about 2:45 right now. 3 p.m. is peak high tide, which means by the time we get to camp, it'll probably be about 4. So tide will be going down. Need to unload the kayak and then get back in while the water is still high to get some firewood. Because all around the camp, obviously, most of the firewood is picked over. Item number 2, when the water is low, is to gather up clams and oysters. Make a clam chowder tonight. About all the fixings.
Madeline home.
Got some cream.
While I'm paddling Madeline home. Gee, when I'm paddling Madeline home.
Going in the farther camp, the one behind there, just because I'm a little unsure about the wind, what the wind is going to be like. We got the crab pot rigged up, stocked with some chicken. Gonna head out to Pinnacle Rocks there, drop it just because I know that the oysters are out there, so it'll be convenient to look at later when the water is down. And of course, go get some firewood. look, a duck decoy. Quack, 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 quack. Quack, 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 quack. Feels like home.
You ain't got no more rope than a busted French bone. Well, you ain't no not fishing. I'm sorry every minute. If it wasn't for my growing tide, you wouldn't have got the chance. The little gal with the burlap stool. You accepted me, well, I was hooked.
Well, it's morning number 1 here. I did not record anything last night. The last night was a little bit of a pain. The wood I assumed was going to be a little wet on the outside, had a little bit of wetness inside. It burned, but you had to keep blowing on it, stoking it. Yeah, the rule is that you take back the oyster shells to the spot where you found the oysters, because baby oysters grow on oyster shells. I already had mine in here that I ate last night. The idiots who left their stupid fucking baby diaper here, of course did not, so I'm picking up their shells to return and continue the cycle of oyster life. I discovered my new way to eat my oatmeal. I can't believe this. I mean, while camping. Just takes care of 2 jobs in 1 shot. Of course we're talking instant oatmeal. Put the hot water in, let it get mushy, enjoy the oatmeal, scrape that thing up, add some more hot water, swish it around, clean it off, have a little bit of oatmeal soup, very tasty. And then it's pretty much spick and span. Wipe it out with a little bit of clean toilet paper. Bam. Right now we're doing some good old roast beef hash on the thing. I do not think that I'm going to be going out for clams again, because the tide is coming in swiftly. And I'm not ready to eat yet, so likely we're switching from clam chowder to oyster chowder. I think it's going to be better. They're meatier. Screw the clams. I loaded up on oysters, obviously, because that's easy enough. My thought is that I'm going to fry up the bacon and then fry some of those shucked oysters in the bacon fat, and then do the whole chowder stuff, along with the potatoes and onions and all that. Those onions are insane. I had to double bag that, or I should have double bagged it, Tupperwared it and bagged it. You could smell the onions from outside of my ice pack. Everything. I was eating some bread. Smells like onions. The onions, it's kind of absurd. I guess that's cut the potatoes here. Might as well just cut everything. I thought I was going to be efficient. I thought it was like a really clever thing, but meh. The scrapings on this tree, which are about 8 or 9 feet up, I think are an elk scraping his antlers. A big pile of, well, it's not really a pile, scattering of elk poop over here. The texture is so good. They're soft, but they got that fantastic little fig crunchy thing, like a fig Newton. They take a long time to dry. This is like a quarter of a fig or so, eighth maybe. Take about 2 days to dry. Hoping for some large crabs, but finding nothing but a gazillion small ones. They very efficiently take your bait. I think I may be too close into the bay. Probably closer out by the ocean. Have some larger ones. Part of the essence of camping is dealing with things that would be insignificant in the city. Such as, I'm making a trip right now to process a bunch of firewood, get some split, and in the sun, while there's still some sun left, try to have a decent fire tonight. Alright, we finally got a jolly fire going. Enough embers and some dry wood and a whole bunch of twigs, and getting a real brush inferno going. It took about an hour to get to this point. Got enough coals in there to keep these damp pieces going, I think. The bacon is frying well. Gonna do that. Do the onion and celery. And shuck the oysters here and slice potatoes. And keep feeding some wood into that. Alright, I think we're on the way to oyster chowder. Well, the oyster chowder is coming along great. Haven't added the oysters yet, of course, but the potatoes, everything else smells fantastic. I added the cream just now to start it thickening up. I'll redo that one. And I'm gonna fry these guys in some butter just to solidify them. And ooh, that's a nice one. Looks like there's 2 in there. Him I'm gonna eat. I need to eat one of these, a couple of these. Oh man, that's good. I think this is what I'm gonna eat too. One more here. Man, that's so good. I just want to eat them all raw. And call it potato chowder. Shit. Holy mackerel. Oh my god. I can't believe how good this chowder is. Oh. I added in Navy biscuits. Appropriate enough. As a thickener. Crushed them up. Holy crap. That was real good. And good old Bowie beer. That's good. Well, we're back here. It's morning time. Late morning. I had coffee and rum and chocolate. It's a good morning starter here in the woods. The plan today is, because the crabs are all small and there's no salmon or steelhead jumping around as I'd hoped, we're going to pack up and head over, because it's on the way back basically, and it's only about 20 minutes away, head over to and do some trout fishing there. It's 11 a.m. now, so we're at peak low tide. I have to go out there and get my oysters for today and try to find that cool and poorly made Chinese crab snare. That the snare part is great. It's metal. You can't go wrong with that. Aviation wire, I guess you'd call it. Piano wire, braided wire. And but I was suspicious about the monofilament line that holds it together. And yes, indeed, of course, it broke after about the 3rd retrieval. The first 2 were looking great. I mean, it grabs, it snares. I'm looking forward to trying it out at the jetty. But it broke, but it's sitting out there on the mud certainly somewhere on the back side of Louse Rocks / Pinnacle Rocks, depending on whose map you're using. Anyway, yeah, that's the thing. So run out there now, grab. Well, I'll tell you what. For real convenience, get yourself one of these. You'll appreciate it at the middle of the night when you gotta, it saves so much. It takes up a little bit of room. You probably don't want to add anything else in there. Well, we're getting ready to leave. Gonna drag the boat out there, load it up, You can see we've got rolling waves coming in. It looks like whitecaps out that way. The wind is blowing. I think it's blocked, so it's probably a lot choppier out that way. Should be an exciting trip. The wind going around the edge there is insane. I can't do it. I'm stopped at the point here, which is right behind the wind. It's raining. It's going to rain non-stop. I mean, I'm soaked through. The rain is no big deal. Put up a little tarp here just to relax. But I can't paddle into the wind. I tried, and yeah. You know, the worst comes to worst, I can wait for the tide to, once it starts going down a little bit, just drag, well, coast, you know, float my kayak around if the wind doesn't stop, and do it that way, because I can't be on the boat and paddling. It's not happening. So little ponds here. They're probably rising. Here's my nice little shelter. Boat beyond there. Very chill sit, but you can see. Maybe you can't. Yeah, right around that point. It's getting foggy and super choppy. But the tide will go down and things will be fine. It'll just be dark. Well, still sitting here. It's a little after 5. It's high tide. I can see that it's actually going down a little bit over there with the boat. The waves, or at least the wind over on that side of the island, has not abated. The worst thing is, I'm almost out of rum. Thank God there's still 6 beers and weed. Otherwise, what are we gonna do? So yeah, hey man, camping is pretty exciting. It's not dangerous. I'm not worried. The worst thing that happens is it takes me another day or 2 to get off, which some girls like that. It's Valentine's Day. What do you expect? The thing is, the bay is really calm out there. It's only the point. It's super geometrical. I mean, it's just a line between the point. Oh, and I'll tell you what else I got. I got leftover oyster chowder, and I got plenty of gas, so I can warm that up and feast on that. That's right, we've gone selfie stick in the shelter. It is nighttime. Still waiting for the tide to go down. I mean, we got a couple hours until it's about walkable. The rain has slowed down. I have put on, I made the executive decision to put on dry clothes, and that's so funny. In this poncho, huddle up. It's so warm. It's a funny situation because all I'm doing is listening for that wind to stop, and it starts to slow down and you get anticipation. I walked around the corner. I mean, it's walkable now and stuff, but yeah, it's blasting, really freaking cold, and I don't want to break camp just to be tortured by walking around the corner like that. See, I really want to. It's so funny because last night I was colder in my sleeping bag and stuff. Well, made it through the night. Thank God for my emergency jacket that I remembered in my kayak bag. I just put on this morning because obviously everything is soaked. This is the camp. Camped in this little hollow here, right next to a little pond. I'm sure it overflows, but there wasn't a huge amount of rain, just the wind. You can't tell now. It's completely calm and quiet. I'm just fueling up here with some beef jerky, figs, apricots, and M&Ms before we load the boat and hit the ocean. Kind of ironic, there's some poetic irony there, being Valentine's Day and trapped on an island. And even more ironic is that on the way over, I was remarking, to myself in my mind and my memory and whatnot, of how interesting it is that there aren't any blackberries, and thank God for that, on the island. But anyway, last night when I was setting up my emergency phase 1 tarp shelter, when I realized I wasn't going to be able to go around that bend, is that I stabbed myself. I'm like, oh shit, are there blackberries? And no, there are not. But on Valentine's Day on the island, I got scraped by wild roses. How about that? That is some poetic fiction level short story irony, ain't it? Yes. Well, I sit here on a very, apparently a kind of a romantic tarp. Have my little repast. Yeah, man, that was a pretty good trip. Well, we're just about back. It's the most relaxing paddle I've ever had out here, I gotta say. Kind of calm. The water is. Everything worked out perfect. Fantastic challenge. Camping is all about overcoming challenges, really. Small disasters. I think it starts off with the little quote-unquote disaster of how are you going to provide your food, your shelter, your whatever, your basic things of life that you're used to. And then when you get that mastered, then it's about overcoming the unexpected things. And of course, the unexpected things happen every single time, so you might have quote-unquote perfected everything, and then of course you end up leaving something behind, or systems that fail unexpectedly, even though you planned pretty well for them. Whew, man, what a nice day. I got